All Against All, issue number 5. We have reached the finale of this book, and it has easily been a favorite of mine of the year. I know this might not be for everybody, but there is something so specific and creative about this endeavor that it feels like a big science fiction epic, but just like a personal story about like a father and daughter letting go of their trauma towards their deceased wife and mother. It's kind of insane, you know? Like it's about love and hardship and finding yourself lost in your work and everything. It's kind of epic. You know, it's so sweet. It's something that I don't know if we'll ever get a book that looks or feels like this for a while. It's just so unique in that way. So this book opens up years earlier where we see a young Vilman and she is asking her father, like, how come I can't see mom? I'd like her to see like my new toy. Why isn't she in her body? Why can't I see mom? And you just see like the analytical father Patesh trying to be like, well, it's confusing to explain, but it's just time for us to say goodbye to mom. But I haven't been out long enough. Why is mommy going away? I don't understand. I want to be with mom, but she can't be with her mother. There's no way she can be. And Batesh trying his hardest. Obviously, like, he's an analytical, logistical guy. He doesn't know the emotional tendencies of how to communicate any of this. When his daughter hugs him, he's like, "It's okay. We'll pull ourselves together. We'll figure this out. You have to stay in control, okay? Because if you don't, you're just gonna lose control about part of it." But she doesn't like what he's saying. It's not nice and it's kind of annoying. So she kind of runs away, leaving her new toy on the ground. And you just see that her mother is like, you know, that little girl reminds me of my mother. And then it's a sad little moment of Vilman knowing she'll never have her mom back. And that's kind of a interesting beat for a story like this that you're not really expecting, because these creatures are so like aquatic and squid based. You don't really think of them as having like emotions. But that theme also is kind of echoed throughout the present day, and we see Helpless looking at himself growing up and like spending time with like his surrogate parental figure, which is the gorilla, and now he is fighting the mechanical remains of it in a, you know, drag him out, knockout brawl. It's crazy. And Vilman's with her father just watching behind like, this is insane. Like, what are we doing? What is that? Well, it's the general. Coven found a way to put himself in the gorilla suit. And what I really like about this issue, and something that is like a key theme throughout it, that if you're not really paying attention, so if you're just like casually reading this issue, and I don't know why you would be, you'll notice that in key moments when we see things from Bate's perspective, there is like a shift of like ecosystems and biology mixing between Helpless and Vilman, where it's like we see Bate is looking at Helpless as his son. He's looking at him as his son. And then when we see Helpless is fighting General Coven, he is seeing it as his parental figure. He's seeing like the full-fledged gorilla that he has to fight, like the person that took care of him. He has to fight them. And the fight is getting very intense, and it's leading to the forest. And, you know, we see that Helpless kind of like sets up a trap for the general to fall through, and it does, and it like falls through a bunch of spikes, destroying the body. But what Helpless sees is like his gorilla mother crying, and he's just like, the pain is the point, because there's still like the biological connection to the body, because it is based off of like an actual like thing. Because we see in the earlier issues when like Bate gets like the crocodile or wolf or bird, he feels their emotions, but because it's the gorilla that the general is inside, it is feeling like the emotions, it's feeling like the pain. Like, I'm beating up my son, essentially, which is a tough moment to execute in any capacity, but even so, because it's still got like muscle tissue, it is feeling like the spikes poking through it, and it's not working. So Helpless is just ready to walk away. Vilman shows up, like, it's okay, we're good now, we can get on with our lives. But we see that the general pops out, and then the wolf that was called by Helpless like attacks it and goes for the jugular, and you just see like, it's a really cool line. You see like this wolf is killing the gorilla body, and the general's like, no hesitation, no mercy, a credit to your breed. And you're like, hell yeah, dude, this wolf's killing a dude, and we're proud of him for it. We love this wolf killing a dude. We love it so much. Tearing flesh off. And then you kind of just see nothing can be saved. Like Bate's ready to admit, nothing can nothing good can come from this. Like, it's done for. Everything I worked for, it's done. And we see that the general kills the wolf, bathes in its blood, is like just so like, I am the ultimate machine. I am the strongest. Exterminate the brutes. I am the god among gods. Some birds fly away in fear at what's being said. And he goes to pick up Helpless, just ready to kill it. Glory, war for glory of we. And it's like, help win war. And you're just like, cool, I'm going to use this machine to help win the war. And you're like, oh, kid, it's gonna kill Helpless. The general's going to kill Helpless. But you see, I'm not an observer. I'm complicit. And you just see that Vilman is just quietly picking up a shard from the ground, sneaks up, and stabs the head of the general. And then you see that Helpless runs his fist in through the mouth of the gorilla, rips out the squid, and crushes it in his hand, and then goes to fight Vilman because it doesn't know. Helpless doesn't know. He's just going for the kill. And we see it from Bidet's perspective, where it's his kids fighting each other, killing each other. And then you have to ask the question, which one is Bidet going to save? Who's he going to save? Who's he going to help? He kills Helpless. And he's just like, oh my God, I killed my son. Another kind of just like, dagger in the back of Vilman. Well, she was saved by her father, but it's like, wow, look at the angst and remorse he is showing for this creature that's not his biological son, but is kind of his being. And you just kind of see, like, it's over. There's nothing left we can do. I can't leave. You have to leave, daughter. I can't always stay on this side of the glass. What he said to her when her mother was dying, it's like, you can't be here. I can't be your burden. And I'm like, what kind of a sick, twisted theme are we playing with, where Vilman is trapped in this world where she knows her father can love her, but he's choosing not to by letting himself out of her life. And we see that some of like the narration we're seeing in the end there, where it's like, in a way, I suppose I watched him disappear, is Vilman talking to a crew member who shows up to the ship. And it's like, hey, this research lab, it's done for. We lost the war. Like things are bad. This whole experiment, it's done for. And we're shutting this whole facility down. We're destroying this facility in 3 weeks. So she's talking to just some new unknown soldier showing up. It's like, I could stay here. Like, if it's easier, I don't have to go back. Like, I can stay here and try to find my father. But he's like, well, you could, but what if the enemy captures you? What do we do then? It's easier if we just eliminate this source and we stop fighting for it. Kind of tragic in that capacity because, again, she doesn't get to see her father. And there's something about that. But she's like, I could try to retrieve him, but the body he's a part of, it's too strong and it's dangerous to wake a sleepwalker. So I don't know. I don't think I will. And his mind, oh my God, it's so cool because Bidet's mind is going to slip away into the gorilla creature, and we're just like, she is watching her other parent lose themselves to this thing that she doesn't understand. And I'm like, this is intense. This is a beautiful end of this story, and it's tragic. I'm like, this is insane. Like, what are we doing? And you think maybe the creature will recognize her, but it probably won't. It's been too long, and it's going to slip away into that body. And we see that the new person here finds a bug that like lands on their arm, and they swat it and kill it. It's like, how'd that thing get out of there? It's weird. It's like, well, eventually everything gets out. Everything just manages to escape. And we see that as the other soldier walks away, Vilman's like, the pain is the point. Something that her brother said when it's like, if we want our message to be clear in this scenario, we have to like shed a little blood. So she opens the door. A snake crawls out. A vulture crawls out, or flies out, I guess. And then we see the last page of the book is her father, Bidet, in the husk of the gorilla mech with a butterfly on his shoulder, almost smiling, but just kind of like, new day is dawning. And I'm like, I was not expecting this to be the ending. I thought there was going to be a more bigger brawl, but it does end tragically where Vilman's just like, the pain is the point. I guess we can only move forward once we understand the destruction we have. I did have a family, and my father did try to love me the best he could, and maybe fighting for this war isn't the point. Like, that is an interesting message to explore. It gives her more depth than I was expecting. I didn't know where this book was going to go the entire time I was reading it, but this issue, it did solidify a lot of things. That this was incredible. The artwork is incredible. It's such a science fiction heavy dialogue book. I respect that. It's a cool creative concept that works wonders and looks gorgeous and just makes me smile to no end. It is a very fascinating and very interesting book. I recommend it. I know it's a hard sell for a lot of people because it's kind of heady and it's kind of like intense punky art, but there is beauty in there. It is a book essentially just about a father's love and letting go, and I think that's a beautiful thing to explore in like a weird Tarzan adjacent science fiction world. It's kind of beautiful. I'm glad this book got out. 5 issues of this was great. I'd like to see more from this world. I might just like to see more from these creators. If I'm not mistaken, Alex Paknadel has or is writing a book for the new Dawn of DC. Is that correct? Are they doing... No, they're not doing the new Superboy book, right? Or what are they? I think they're doing something. I can't remember what it is, but cool. Unique book I'm glad exists. A unique book that I'm glad exists. So, All Against All, issue number 5, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. And thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.